Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chhoda with Ignition Time and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for making our channel one of the fastest growing channels on the web in the field of personal finance, in the field of politics and current affairs, stimulus news and unemployment benefits. Now, I'm going to be honest with you and I'm just going to give it to you straight because again, I know you as my viewers and subscribers can handle it. You guys can handle the truth. The truth is that every single day that goes by, the chances of further stimulus become smaller and smaller. And to be honest, listen, let me be honest. I'd love to report news about sunshine and rainbows. In fact, when that happens, you'll see me drinking wine. Right now, I'm drinking some yogurt. But you'll see me, I'm laughing because again, I don't know what else to do here. You don't want to see me cry on camera. It's not a pretty sight. But, when there's good news, I'll be drinking a glass of wine, sitting out here on my patio. But the truth is, every single day that goes by, the chances of a second stimulus become smaller and smaller. In fact, I have proof of it. In an interview today, the White House senior economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, said, I quote, that the focus now will be on the continuing resolution. And I'll tell you what that means. And he said, the recovery does not hinge on this bill. He kind of just slipped that in there. But that is such a significant statement because that shows that the priority of the administration now is the continuing resolution to prevent a government shutdown. And by the way, both the U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi have agreed to this. So the focus is a continuing resolution, a CR, to avoid a government shutdown, to make sure that the government has enough funding and that the government does not shut down after the end of this month. And the second stimulus talks are now not on the table at all. In fact, Larry Kudlow specifically said, if someone wants to talk about it, we'll talk about it. They aren't even talking about it right now. In fact, if anything, because of the failure of the skinny bill, because of the failure of the targeted bill from the Republicans, which, by the way, got no support from the Democrats. It was also opposed by one Republican, Rand Paul. Right now, stimulus talks are at a complete dead end. But I do want you to understand what the White House is saying, because the White House senior economic advisor who speaks on behalf of the administration on economic matters, on policy matters, was interviewed on Fox today. And again, let me preface, before I show you the interview, let me preface the display of the interview by saying that for me, it's important what these officials say. It doesn't matter to me whether he was interviewed on Fox News, CNN, he could be interviewed on C-SPAN. I don't really watch C-SPAN, but he could be interviewed on any channel. It doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is what he says. I don't care if the interview was on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, the Mickey Mouse Network, doesn't really matter to me. So for me, what matters is what Larry Kudlow said, and I will show you what Larry Kudlow said. He said, I quote, the focus will be on the continuing resolution. The recovery does not hinge on the bill. And he was specifically asked to comment on, the skinny bill has failed. Now, what's going to happen next? And what Larry Kudlow said was, right now, the shift is more towards a continuing resolution to keep the government open. Secretary Mnuchin and Speaker Pelosi agree that it should be a clean CR, a clean continuing resolution. I already mentioned that to you. And he said, so my suspicion is that that's going to be the next order of business. And as far as the next CARES Act goes, there'll be discussions if people want to discuss. Those are very ominous words because that means, hey, if someone brings it up, we'll talk about it. But it's not something that is a high priority for us right now. He also said, I don't expect anything happening in the near term. So I don't see how there will be some bill in the near term. He did talk about what the bill contained, what the skinny bill contained. He did say that there were $300 enhanced unemployment benefits. He said the post office would get $10 billion. And he said there was $50 billion for testing and vaccines. He said there was money for the Paycheck Protection Program. And he said there was a lot of help for the economy there. There were child credits there. And he said that I don't understand the logic of saying no to a bill like that. He said the reality is it would help. And he said, why not do it? Because, he was essentially taking a shot at the Democrats for resisting that bill. Now, the Democrats would argue that they passed a very comprehensive HEROES Act back in May, which was opposed by the Republicans. In fact, the Republicans couldn't even have a consensus in terms of coming up with a consensus on the HEALS Act. So there are two sides to every story because the Democrats will say they passed a comprehensive bill, which the Republicans didn't even entertain. So that's where things stand. But let's listen to what the White House senior economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, said about the possibility of the next stimulus and where the current priorities lie. Let's roll the tape.
Well, in truth, I don't know. There's going to be something of a shift right now to a continuing resolution to keep the government open. Secretary Mnuchin, Speaker Pelosi agree it should be a clean CR. So, my suspicion is that's going to be the next order of business, although insofar as another CARES bill and so forth, there'll be discussions if people want to discuss. I don't expect anything dramatic in the near term. But I want to highlight, you mentioned that there's some key elements in here. This is the part I don't get. I mean, you have 57 Republicans, so the party is united, and the Democrats wouldn't help them in the Senate. You're talking about adding the $300 to assist the unemployment benefits, right. $105 billion to open schools. There's agreement on that. There has been agreement. Even the post office gets $10 billion for some loan forgiveness. Vaccines and related testing and so forth, almost $50 billion. The PPP for small businesses, which I do think would help the economy quite a bit, over $250 billion. I mean, there's also child care credits in there and more assistance if you have to stay home. These are things really that both sides have from time to time said they agree on. Although I don't think the recovery hinges on this bill, the reality is it would help, okay? So I don't understand the logic. Why not do it?
Now, in the next segment of the interview, the White House senior economic advisor was specifically asked to comment about the Democrats' political agenda, because what the interviewer did was ask Larry Kudlow if the Democrats had a political agenda to essentially sabotage any further stimulus in an effort to make sure the president wasn't re-elected. Now, here's what Larry Kudlow said. Larry Kudlow said that he wanted to remain on the policy side of this argument. He didn't want to get into the politics of this. I will show you that specific segment. But the things that really jumped out at me in terms of what Larry Kudlow said was, he said the disagreements here are about the size and the scope. And he did say a third of what the Democrats wanted had nothing to do with the pandemic. And he said that I think the GOP has a leg up on this. This is what the senior economic advisor, the senior White House economic advisor said. Now, like I said, there are two sides to every story, and I've put out enough content on my channel for you to decide what you think is best. But the White House senior economic advisor said, I think the GOP has a leg up on this. He said there's no reason why we couldn't have agreed to 5 or 6 things. And I will say that liability protection for businesses are really essential. He said the small business help is really essential, and kids going back to school is really essential. Kids and jobs, what's wrong with that? Those were the words of the White House senior economic advisor. Let's roll the tape and see exactly what he had to say about the contents of this failed skinny stimulus bill and what the future may hold and what the Republican priorities are. Let's roll the tape.
The things I mentioned, they're all good things. In the talks in recent weeks, there have been agreement. The disagreements here are about the size and scope. A third of that Democratic package had nothing to do with COVID, for example. That's not right. And the Democrats you may be right politically, Stuart. I'm just saying, ordinary folks listening to us or, going about their business today, Main Street folks, blue collars and so forth, people going back to work in the offices in New York, which is a good thing. They just would like to see the government do something positive. And I think the GOP has had a leg up on this. I know that's political, but there's no reason why we couldn't have agreed to 5 or 6 key things. And I will say the liability restrictions you mentioned is really essential. The small business help is really essential. And the kids going back to school assistance is really essential. Kids and jobs. What's wrong with that?
Now, the next segment of the interview also was extremely telling. In fact, the White House senior economic advisor was asked, what do you think about the growth of the economy going forward? Where do you think we are going to be in the future? Because a lot of the economic projections that are coming out, they reflect national trends, are reflecting that the economy is indeed getting back on track. And that is something that the administration is pointing towards and sort of highlighting that as a measure of the strength of the economic recovery, as a measure of all the deregulation, the tax incentives that they've put in place. As you would expect, Larry Kudlow highlighted the good numbers, but I do have to be honest, I've covered this in other videos. This is a K-shaped recovery, although you will hear Larry Kudlow talking about a V-shaped recovery. The truth is this is a K-shaped recovery. The rich are getting richer and have recovered, whereas the poor are left behind. I talk about this as a train that's left the station, leaving some individuals behind. It's horrible. When I say it out loud, it's horrible for me to even think about this. In fact, some of these things keep me up at night. But this, unfortunately, is what is going on. And you can see that in the comments from our viewers and subscribers. Here's what Larry Kudlow said. He said that I've seen Wall Street estimates of up to 35%. He's talking about the economic recovery. He said Wall Street Journal estimates are 35%. He said you're seeing an upward movement, I quote, because the job numbers and unemployment have been strong. Housing, automobiles, manufacturing, you're all looking at a V-shaped recovery. He said the jobs improvement is clear. He also said that he expects the September jobs report to be a good report. He expects it to be very encouraging. And I do want to also mention that Larry Kudlow pointed out that I know this isn't over and I know there's still hardships out there, but I hope and pray these trends continue because the American economy is very durable and the underpinnings on low taxes and regulations are very helpful to future growth. Let's roll the tape.
I think so. I mean, we'd be happy with 20%. That was our initial estimate, staying with that. But I do think you're seeing an upward movement, because the jobs numbers and unemployment have been strong. Housing, automobiles, manufacturing, you're all looking at very strong V-shaped recovery type numbers. The Atlanta Fed now is, I believe, over 30% or at 30% in their GDP now. I've seen Wall Street estimates of up to 35%. I'll stay where we are. But, I think the great news here is that businesses are reopening. And the economy is moving forward at a rapid clip, probably better than folks thought. So that's really the great news. That's going to continue. I mean, people say the jobs improvement is over. I completely disagree. If you look at initial unemployment claims or continuing claims versus a month ago, they're way, way better. So I see no reason why September's jobs report won't be an excellent number. And again, inventories have to be rebuilt to help the demand for cars, to meet the demand for cars and the demand for various consumer spending items. That's a self-sustaining recovery. So I think we're back on track. We got to get everything reopened. I dare say my home, New York City, 25% restaurants is not enough. We should go to, as much as we can. But the virus numbers are coming down very well. The fatality numbers are coming down very well. I know this isn't over, and I know there's still hardships out there, but I hope and pray these trends continue because American economy is very durable, and the underpinnings on low taxes and regulations are very helpful to future growth.
So that's it, everybody. Those were the comments of the White House Senior Economic Advisor, Larry Kudlow. Let me know in the comment section below whether you agree with the Senior Economic Advisor, whether you agree with the White House's positions that this is indeed a V-shaped recovery and a lot of individuals are getting back on track. There are individuals who are indeed getting back to work, but there are a lot of other individuals who've been left behind. Let me know in the comment section below whether you agree with the position of the administration. I'd love to hear what you think. Also, please share this video with friends and family members so we can get opinions and we can get feedback from more members of our growing community. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. If you don't know anything about me, check out my introductory video. I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream. I will never, ever get tired of saying that. I am a beneficiary of American generosity. I am a beneficiary of the greatness of America. I am a symbol of American exceptionalism, and I will help you, yes, you, live your American dream. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. So please make sure you click like, you subscribe, you enable notifications. If you want to get text message alerts from us, get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000. And you'll get added to our SMS alerts list. You can also go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts and get on our email alerts list. You can opt out of the email alerts or the SMS alerts at any time. Now, you can also go to youtube.com/ignitiontime. That's youtube.com/ignitiontime and bookmark our channel so that you don't have to wait for notifications from YouTube, because sometimes those notifications don't arrive in real time as soon as we release the video. So just bookmark our channel, check out our channel once or twice a day whenever you want to, and you'll see all the latest videos and you will not miss a single video. Speaking of not missing notifications, I suggest that you follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. We release a lot of interesting and engaging content specifically for our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching once again. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. And if you learn something new, please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. That really helps us. That helps me and my team. That helps the YouTube algorithm. And that is your vote of confidence in the work that we do. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thanks. Bye.